Hey everyone, the new Planet Zoo Tropical Pack launches tomorrow, and in this video we're going to do a quick summary of the pack. We're going to talk briefly about the new scenery, look at the highlights of the new animals, and I'll give you guys my overall thoughts on the new DLC. So with that being said, let's get into it. We're going to begin with talking about the new tropical scenery. We have a variety of new tropical plants and a new Indonesian building set. There are certain pieces I gravitate towards much more than others. I may not find too much use of pieces like the giant animal sculptures or the gilded wooden pieces, but I find the new painted bricks and the stained wood set to be incredibly useful, especially with them being completely flexicolor. There's so much you can do with pieces like this, and the same can be said for a lot of the new foliage pieces. I do think we have a smaller amount of new foliage pieces than expected, but at least the ones we have are very beautiful and very useful for tropical projects. Such plants as the Tetrastigma vine and the Kentia palm will be used a lot. It's always great to get new scenery in Planet Zoo, and it's no different now. Of course, I would be lying if I said this new wave of scenery was perfect. I do have some nitpicks. For example, it's disappointing to see that we are unable to change the color of our new thatched roofs. The wood that it's on is flexicolor, but not the actual roof itself. There's also a much smaller amount of new foliage pieces than expected, still some great new plants, but when the theme itself is tropical, the most biodiverse climate in the world, you'd expect to see more species of plants. In the end, these nitpicks don't really matter too much in my opinion, when the overall scenery set is still very useful and well done. I think Frontier has done a great job again giving us new quality made pieces for our projects. It's definitely a good reason to buy the pack. We're gonna start with my favorite animal of the pack, the Fossa. From the start of its pointy head to the tip of its long tail, a big highlight is the Fossa's perfect model. Frontier really captured the agile, skinny proportions of the animal, all the way down to some ribcage showing on its side. Not only that, but despite the Fossa virtually taking the same rig as our cats in game, it does however have some unique animations in the way it runs and how its tail is animated. Having these small but unique animations help keep the Fossa a little more distinct compared to the cats in game. Same can be said for the enrichment items. It shares a lot of the same enrichment items as our cat, but it also has some of its own enrichment that isn't shared with the cats in game, such as the Skittle Feeder and the Rubber Ducky. Going into this, I was going to be looking heavily into the comparison of our new Fossa and our current cats in game, and I'm happy to say that Frontier has done a good job in making the Fossa feel distinct. Of course, it does use the cat rig as well as share a lot of the same enrichment items and certain animations that our cats have, but the fantastic model, great tail animations, cool sounds, and some unique enrichment items help keep the Fossa interesting and overall faithful to the real-life counterpart. Besides, in real life this animal has evolved to function like a cat anyway, so it's not all that surprising that it's treated like a cat in game. I'm just really happy to say that the Fossa has made a solid addition to Planet Zoo. One of the best things about the Red River Hog is its fur texture. Pre-Red River Hog edition, the extra hairiness that this animal has is something I was pondering. I wasn't sure how Frontier was going to tackle it, but I'm happy to say that they nailed it. Frontier has gotten really good with the fur texturing on their animals, and the Red River Hog is a perfect example of this. And as if that wasn't enough, the fur is also very animated. I can appreciate that when it moves its ears, you can see the ear tufts move along with it. It's very detailed and it adds a lot of extra life to the animal. And another one of my favorite things about the Red River Hog is when it rolls around in the dirt. It's a very fitting animation that is shared with the other pigs in game, but looks especially best with the Red River Hog. Not a surprise, but this is one of my favorite animals in the pack. This was such a long-awaited addition, and I'm really happy to see it come out so well. Of course, it's largely the same as the Babirusa and Warthog, but what helps keep it distinct is its visually perfect model, the extra hair details it has, and some really nice animations. The Red River Hog is definitely competing with the Babirusa for the best pig in game. Planet Zoo finally has a new habitat lizard after 4 years, and it's a visual delight. This is not surprising because, as we've seen many times in the past, Frontier is really good at making highly detailed reptiles, and the Asian water monitor is no different with its photorealistic scales running along its body. And as it says in its name, this animal is very much associated with the water. Most times I've placed one into a habitat, it usually goes straight for the closest body of water, and whether this is an extra added detail or just a coincidence, the Asian water monitor still spends a lot of the time in the water, diving deep down into the pools you build for it. Seeing all this just gives it a lot more life, making it, as well as the Nile monitor, feeling quite unique amongst the other reptiles in game. I know not everyone is going to be a fan of the Asian water monitor, and some have already argued that with this being a tropical pack, there were many other better options out there than just another lizard, and while I do agree that there are better options out there, I'm still super grateful to finally have a new lizard in Planet Zoo. This is a group of animals that needs more representation, so even just getting another monitor lizard is much appreciated. I won't lie, it's not the most amazing addition in the world, especially since it's largely the same as our other two habitat lizards, but it's just a great animal to have regardless, and so I'm thankful that Frontier has added it. We are now onto the face of the pack, the Lar Gibbon. If you are familiar with Frontier's previously added Siamangs and their first time introduced brachiation, then you might notice that the brachiation has actually been improved upon with the addition of the Lar Gibbon. For one, the brachiation is no longer limited to the metal climbing frames, but has also now been added to the vines and our traditional wooden climbing structures. This was a great choice to help branch out the brachiation and help it get more into the swing of things. I'm so sorry. And although it's been a minute since I last looked at these Siamangs and their brachiation, I do feel I've noticed the brachiation happening a lot more often with the Lar Gibbons. It's totally possible that not only did Frontier expand the brachiation, but may have also helped it occur more often and made it run a lot smoother as well. While I do still wish we had gotten spider monkeys over the Lar Gibbon, I can't deny that it still makes a solid addition to Planet Zoo. The updating to the brachiation is appreciated, as well as one or two unique animations, unique sounds, and unique color variation help make it a worthwhile addition. Overall, this animal to me really is just a more colorful, more interesting, more zoo-common species of gibbon for the game. I'll definitely be using it in my projects more often than the Siamang, and so I'm happy it's been added to Planet Zoo. Our third walkthrough exhibit, we finally have sloths. Just like our other walkthrough exhibits, you start by placing down the facility, then adding a sloth to get it started. Afterwards, you can begin adding enrichment to your sloth exhibit by going to the layout tab and adding cool details like food bowls, climbing posts, and sloth chairs. The sloths will then interact with these items over time, leaving you to enjoy some really cool moments, like seeing your sloths resting in a chair or chilling by a basking lamp. Furthermore, if you want to take the entire exhibit and build it freely into your zoos, you can also go to the Customize tab and change the walls of the exhibit to null, leaving just the sloths and their climbing structure visible. This animal addition is a big deal, there is no getting around that. Sloths have been one of the longest awaited animals now, and a part of me just doesn't even believe we finally have them. For the longest time now, the fans of this game have wondered how Frontier was going to implement them. Were they going to be normal habitat animals, a part of the new walkthrough exhibits, or something completely different? Well, in the end, we finally got sloths in the form of walkthrough exhibits, and so the question remains, did that work? Did Frontier do a good job of bringing sloths into Planet Zoo? Simple answer, yes. Long answer, yes, but with some liberties taken. Of course, it's not perfect. The overall structure of the exhibit makes it very tight and tricky to fit into your zoos, as well as the sloth's animations sometimes feeling quite stiff, and I mean even stiffer than normal for a sloth. And of course, it would have been better if they had done 2-toed sloths over 3-toed sloths, but it is what it is. But for all the issues to find with this animal, there is also a lot to be enjoyed. The sloth hammock, the basking light, and the sleeping basket, plus all the cool animations you can see them do, such as walking over the heads of your guests and reaching down to eat some fruit, all these details help keep sloths feeling alive in your zoos. And in the end, if this was the only way Frontier was willing to give us this unique animal, well then I'm honestly happy with it. I think it was the right way to go about it, and I think there's a lot to be enjoyed with Planet Zoo's new sloths. Even though I have my reservations about the theming of this pack, I cannot deny that this is still a great DLC with some great new animals, great new scenery, and is overall a great start to the new year. So if you are currently active in Planet Zoo and looking for some new content, then this pack is definitely worth your time and money. You will probably not regret buying it. However, if you are unsure about spending more money right now and aren't too active in the game, then it wouldn't hurt to hold off on buying it. The reason I say this is because as great as the Tropical Pack is, I wouldn't say it's one of the more crucial ones to have. A lot of the contents in this pack can be found in other DLCs, such as Temple Architecture in the South America pack, Gibbons in the Conservation pack, a species of tropical pig in the Southeast Asia Animal pack, and other habitat lizards in the base game. So for currently active players, this is some great new content, but for those struggling to make time for Planet Zoo, it wouldn't hurt to wait on buying this pack until you're more available for the game. But of course, if there's something particular in this pack that you just need to have in your zoos, regardless of how often you play the game, well then this pack is definitely worth getting because this is another very quality made Frontier DLC. Kudos to the Planet Zoo devs and their work, they've made another solid addition to the game's growing DLC collection. And there you have it everyone, my quick overview of the new Tropical Pack. As I said before, we've got some great new animals, great new scenery, and a great start to the new year. Now I want to thank everyone for watching this video, and if you're interested enough in this pack, then please go check it out for yourself and form your own opinions. But for now, I want to thank everyone again for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.